You make decisions that make sense to everyone else, but inside, something feels hollow. Like you're living a life that fits, but doesn't belong to you. What if the weight you're carrying isn't yours? You've learned to read the room before you enter it, to anticipate what people need from you, to become the version of yourself that keeps the peace. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's the career you chose because it sounded impressive at dinner parties. The relationship you stayed in because leaving would disappoint people who aren't even in it. The personality you wear because the real one felt too risky to show. Psychologists call this introjection. It's when you absorb someone else's values, beliefs, or expectations and mistake them for your own. Your parents' definition of success, your partner's idea of who you should be, society's script for what a good life looks like. You didn't choose these, you inherited them, and now they run in the background of every choice you make. Here's what matters. You're not weak for feeling this. You're not broken for being confused. This is what happens when you have a highly adaptable nervous system. When you grew up learning that your safety, your belonging, your worth depended on making others comfortable. That's not a flaw. That's survival intelligence. But survival mode and thriving mode are not the same thing. And what kept you safe as a child can quietly suffocate you as an adult. Here's what's happening in your brain. The prefrontal cortex is your planning center. It's supposed to help you make decisions based on your values, your goals, your identity. But when you've spent years adapting to external expectations, something shifts. Your brain starts to prioritize the external reward system over the internal one. You get a dopamine hit from approval, from being seen as responsible, agreeable, successful, and your brain learns this is safety. But there's a cost. The more you optimize for external validation, the quieter your internal compass becomes. Psychologists call this external locus of control. You begin to evaluate your choices based on how others will react, not on whether they align with who you actually are. And over time, you lose the signal. You stop knowing what you want because you've been too busy managing what everyone else needs. So, how do you find your way back? Not with rebellion, not with cutting people off, but with quiet reclamation. Here are 5 principles rooted in psychology. Most expectations live in your head as thoughts that feel like yours, but they're not. When you catch yourself thinking, I should be further along by now, I can't let them down, what will people think? Ask, whose voice is this? Is it your father's? Your ex's? A version of you from 10 years ago? In Gestalt therapy, this is called disidentification. You're separating the voices you've internalized from your authentic self. You're not rejecting them, you're just seeing them clearly. Your body knows the truth before your mind does. When you think about a decision that aligns with someone else's expectations, notice your body. Does your chest tighten? Does your breathing get shallow? Now think about something you genuinely want, even if it's small. A walk alone, a quiet morning, a project no one asked you to do. Notice the shift. This is called somatic awareness. Your nervous system is giving you data. Tension means this isn't mine. Ease means this is. You don't have to quit your job or end a relationship to start living authentically. You start small. Order what you want at the restaurant. Say no to one event this week. Spend 30 minutes doing something just because it interests you. These are agency-building behaviors. Each small choice where you prioritize your preference, even in low-stakes situations, rewires your brain. You're teaching your nervous system, I am safe even when I choose for myself. When you stop performing the role people expect, they notice, and it feels destabilizing. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're changing the system. In family systems theory, this is called differentiation. You're becoming a separate self, and systems resist change, even positive change, because it disrupts the equilibrium. People may guilt you, question you, pull harder to get the old version of you back. That's not evidence you should stop. It's evidence that change is real. The antidote to living by others' expectations is not isolation, it's internal clarity. You need to know what you value, not what sounds good, not what you should value, what actually matters to you. Write it down, 3 to 5 core values. Then, for the next month, before any major decision, ask, does this move me closer to what I value or further away? This is values-based decision-making, and it gives you a reference point that isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. Here's the simple mental model. You are not a container for other people's needs. You are a self with boundaries. And boundaries aren't walls. They're the edges that let you know where you end and someone else begins. When you carry other people's expectations, those circles blur. You lose the boundary, and without it, you lose yourself. Reclaiming your life doesn't mean rejecting everyone. It means learning to hold two things at once. I can care about you, and I can choose for myself. That's not selfish, that's self-authorship. And it's the only way to build a life that doesn't just look good, but feels true. You've spent so long being what others needed. Maybe it's time to ask what you need. Not loudly, not all at once, just honestly. The path back to yourself is quiet, but it's yours, and that makes it worth walking.